Welcome, college basketball fans, to the Full Court Press Podcast with LT and Sammy D. This is the podcast that brings you legendary stories from college basketball's golden era and dives in deep with a current analysis of today's game. Get ready for the most energetic and entertaining college basketball podcast around. Let's get it.
Hello and welcome to another Full Court Press, a college basketball coaches show powered simply by the Full Court Network. LT in the saddle going one-on-one. Don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review where you can, whether it's on X or Instagram or whatever have you. And if you're watching on YouTube and you like the pleasant smile that I bring, press the subscribe button to the Full Court Network YouTube channel. So we've got a new head coach in the coaching carousel. It finally happened. We got new San Diego head men's basketball coach, J.R. Blount. Welcome to the Full Court Press, Coach.
Thank you, Luke. I appreciate it, man. Happy to be here.
Happy to be here. Whitefish Bay native. Unfortunately, you went to Loyola. It's okay because it's all about the Midwestern Collegiate Conference.
There you go. There you go.
It is. So we kind of talked quickly off air before my technical difficulties happened. So you coach with Nico Medved. You coach with TJ, who do you feel like he needs to wear bigger shirts?
I think it's just a credit to his relentless efforts in the weight room every morning at 5 a.m. So, yeah. Hey, I'm a supporter of the shirt. You know, that's the size he wears.
Yep. So really exciting times. WCC, great basketball tradition. First time kind of on the West Coast. You're more of a Midwest guy. What attracted you to the San Diego job? Like, was it just like, because we talk a lot about fit. I mean, obviously there are other opportunities. Why this one and why now?
You know, I think initially talking to Kimya, his vision, the infrastructure that they put into this university in the recent years, Kimya's vision was, hey, let's come here and let's win. We have a brand new practice facility. We want to invest in the basketball program. And to me, when I heard him and I heard the passion that he was speaking with in that first initial phone call, I said, this is somebody that I would love to partner with and work with and get to the top together.
Yeah. So it's kind of interesting because when you look at now with the current landscape, it doesn't really matter what happened the year before because you just recruit a new roster. What's really interesting to me is when you and TJ came into Iowa State together, 2-22. I don't think they won a game in the Big 12. I mean, you guys were in the Sweet 16, this year. What's the recipe or what's the expectation year one and then beyond year one? Because we really noticed a big jump from year 1 to 2 and even more so from year 2 to year 3. So I guess what can people expect year one and then beyond at San Diego?
Yeah, I think the biggest thing is we want to bring in high character young men, guys that are hungry, guys that have won and have that chip on their shoulder. And I think we're going to put a product on the floor that's going to play really hard, one of the hardest playing teams in the entire nation. And it's the same simple solution that we had at Iowa State. We're not necessarily recruiting, hey, this is the most touted or talented guy. It's more like a guy that wants to put on his hard hat and execute daily habits every single day. I feel like that really pays off, and that kind of creates the culture that you have.
Yeah. So you're going to have a football team is what I hear.
Hey, we'll do it. We'll tackle guys on the floor. We'll do everything. So we will be physical. If you want to play football on the basketball court, that's worked for me the last 5 years.
Have you ever played pickup with football players on a basketball court? It's like the worst. They're athletic.
Yeah.
But, man, they don't foul lightly.
Yeah, no, that's the thing. And we will. We will be physical. We've joked with these guys. I've said it in the media. But, I think us and Houston.
You're joking in the media, but you're serious inside.
I'm serious. I don't know if my staff, I've had a couple guys that I brought with me from Iowa State on my support staff. And, they've said it. They were like, no, he's for real. Like, we'll foul a lot and, we'll make the officials, make this game ugly. And it's just how we're going to do things.
Yeah, were you guys that physical at Iowa State? When I think of physical, I think of Kelvin Sampson. No offense to Iowa
No,
State, but Kelvin Sampson in Houston practice, just because we saw it physically on video, and
right.
I didn't get to witness it. I mean, I saw it at the Final Four, but it wasn't as crazy as probably some of their closed doors practices are. I mean, is it going to be
Right.
more that style? Is it just more kind of relentless attacking? What kind of like what is it really going to be?
I think you can describe it as we're going to dictate and we're going to disrupt on the defensive end. And we're just going to play with multiple efforts. So,
Yeah.
It's going to be something where there's not going to be a perfect scheme of something. It's going to be, we have to get results. You have to make multiple efforts to get those results. And we got to fly around. And then if you fly around, you mess up, you just got to fix it.
Yeah.
And I think we're going to do that on both ends of the floor.
Yeah. How difficult was for you? We were at the Final Four in the first and second rounds, but more so the Final Four. You had Coach Joyner at Michigan, took the Oregon State job. Luke Murray, UConn, took the Boston College job. I mean, you were in the Sweet 16. How difficult was it to kind of juggle those couple weeks and even, just kind of closing up that and trying to juggle both jobs? I mean, hopefully you got paid twice. That'd be kind of nice.
Yeah, that was the good part. Not as good as those other two guys who got to the national championship. But
wow,
yeah, it was difficult. But I told Kimya and President Harris when I accepted this job that I was going to be 100% present with those guys at Iowa State. They're the reason why I got the job. So I wanted to make sure we stayed committed to those guys. But then as soon as the game over, you get a little time in preparation. Now it's back to USD and making sure these guys are good and starting to recruit and starting to talk to assemble guys for my staff. So, yeah, it was not a lot of sleep, kind of getting after it till early in the morning and then turn around and making sure we try to win some games at Iowa State till that time came.
Yeah, it's like the transfer portal for players. Like after that, the buzz goes, all right, see you, bye.
Yeah, right.
Good luck. I'll see you.
See you later.
So
it was, but it was fun. Like it was really fun. We went to the Sweet 16 3 years out of those 5.
Huge. Yep.
I mean, getting to the NCAA tournament is an amazing accomplishment, but then making it to the second weekend, there's just a different energy in the buildings. Like just even watching the game before ours, you're like, man, this is special, and you can't take that for granted because a lot of people don't ever get there.
Yeah, going to the tournament in multiple facets, it's such an electricity. And I usually go to 2 out of the 3. I need a break because it's just too much electricity.
Yeah.
So I take that Sweet 16 weekend off, but I'm there first, second rounds, and then Final Four. And it has to be the best sports tournament out there. Spectacle.
Right.
3 weeks. I mean, it's just, the Cinderella stories, all the stuff. The only thing I don't like about the Final Four is I feel like it's just like there's too much media, and that's pretty bad for me saying that, but I don't really care.
Yeah.
But it's like it's just like almost robotic. Like you have so much, and even the Sweet 16, like it's this and players, and it's just like let them relax and enjoy it. But what I do like that the NCAA did a very good job, and I will give them some kudos for once, which I do a lot actually, is I like that they push the transfer portal back and it really benefits kind of you and other head coaches going in. You're not kind of behind the 8 ball. Has that kind of helped? I mean, kind of get that staff and stuff like that.
Absolutely, that helped a ton. I mean, because at the point it was at before is basically the teams that were successful were getting penalized for continuing to play. And I think even 2 years ago when we went to the Sweet 16, the previous time, the second time, we were trying to squeeze visits in on top of preparing for another team that we had to play. And it's just like the timing now is a lot better for everyone. And I also think it allows you to have a little bit of preparation of like what you want to do with your roster and what you need. And it gives you a little bit of time. Now, if you're in the national championship, you still kind of get a little bit of rush, but I think you'll take that 9 times out of 10.
Yeah. It's funny. Like it was too late and I was flying out early out of Indianapolis, and I just wanted to hear like the questions like right after winning, like, oh, so who are you recruiting?
Yeah, who are you getting? Yeah,
exactly. Who are you getting and stuff like that. What was your kind of philosophy or idea behind your coaching staff?
Man, I was very, very intentional. I would not hire, and I didn't really speak to anybody that I didn't know personally. So my staff came together very, very fast because it was guys that I talk to on a daily basis. All of these guys I've known for multiple years. So I was very respectful to, my mentors and everyone that were giving me suggestions of, hey, hire this guy, look at this guy. But I already had my mind made up. And
Did you get anybody like DMs on Twitter and Instagram?
And it's funny, like I can't have anything on my phone like with numbers on it. So I just went back and responded to everybody. Like I was just like, hey man, I wish I could help you, if I can help you in any other way. But I tried to get back to every single one that reached out to me on Instagram and whatever, X and text messages and all that stuff, because I've been in that position before. I was very intentional, especially with the first time being here. I wanted to make sure that I had people that I could trust and that I knew personally.
Yep. Are you going to focus? I mean, is there any recruiting philosophy, or is it just kind of try to get the best players and the best fits? I mean, before, 10 years ago, or when you went to Loyola, Loyola was big Midwest, as was UIC, big like Chicagoland, and then the outskirts, whether it's Milwaukee, whether it's down south, that kind of circle. Obviously, recruiting's changed with the kind of transfer portal and NIL.
Yeah, I think we still want to focus on the Southern California area. I think that's important because there is a lot of good basketball.
Absolutely.
We had 3 kids committed from us recently from there. But it's a wide range now with the portal. Like you can get guys from all over. I think we're more focusing on their character, what they can bring to the table, both on and off the court from a development standpoint. Are they willing to get better? Are they trying to get better? Are they coming from winning programs? That stuff is more important as you look at than maybe the region of where exactly they're from. But man, we got to bring in guys that are hungry and ready to win right away. And when we found that, like that's somebody that we've been aligned with.
Yeah. So one of the headaches you're going to have as you go from the Power 4 step down is non-conference scheduling. How's that going for you so far?
It's good. It's interesting. I think it's right now it's not bad because everyone thinks we're going to be bad and we haven't won any games. So I think a lot of teams will play us. I think, obviously Travis Steele was very public about it, and the crazy thing is going to be even harder for him to get games now. So
I haven't told him that yet. I got to text him that.
But no, I mean, I think that's part of it. Like, and I was obviously at the Power 4 level where it's like, we're not playing those teams for any reason. So you got to get lucky. You got to, try to find some neutral site games. And then you got to be willing to go on the road. Like, you got to be willing to go on the road and take some of these battles on and then, build up your resume that way.
Yeah, I hear Minnesota is beautiful in January.
Yeah, I know. I wouldn't even want to play them. He just passed the ball around 85 times and go from side to side, and then it'd be having our defense all distorted. And he'd be looking down at me like with that little smirk, like, "Oh, it didn't work" when he gets a layup. So,
what a jerk, huh, Nico? What a jerk. So, if I look at your journey, okay. When did you know that you wanted to be a coach? Was there like an aha moment in your life at a certain age or time? Was your dad a coach or an uncle? Like what made you want to be a coach?
Yeah, it's crazy. Both my dad and my uncle was my coach growing up all the way until I got to Loyola. And my dad coached when I was really young. I can just remember guys like my dad coached Devin Harris's brother. So, me and Devin Harris are hanging around. So growing up, but he always had the best players in the state of Wisconsin growing up. So that was kind of always in the gym and seeing that aspect of it. And then I think, after college, I was kind of like, man, this is something I want to stay around. Like I enjoy the development piece of it. I'm a relationship guy, so I enjoy getting to know people from different areas and building those genuine relationships. So, I think before college, but then really after college, when I'm like, all right, I'm going to try to play for a little bit, but I knew this is what I wanted to do. And that was my passion of building relationships and kind of being a foundational piece for young men.
Yeah. If you look at your journey, okay, 15 years, I read somewhere it's an apprenticeship. 15 years of apprenticeship under obviously some very well-respected coaches and men and
Right.
leaders. And obviously your dad and uncle hopefully were good influences too.
Yep.
Can only imagine what my kids think about me when I coach them, but we won't go there. It's about you, coach. It's about you. Okay. What is the best advice you can give back to kind of the younger generation? You know, I'm around a lot of like graduate assistants, just, you know, going to games practices and just chatting to them. What is the best advice you could probably give someone that's starting their journey, where you're kind of in the middle of your journey?
Yeah, my dad told me right away. He was like, just make sure that no task is ever too small. So, you know, if that means, hey, you're a GA, you're an ops guy, like, and you got to sweep the floor, be the best floor sweeper there is. If you got to get the sandwiches, then go get them and make sure they're hot and ready. And, you know, I took that advice. You know, my dad was saying that all the way up until I got this job. He's like, you getting TJ's sandwiches? You getting TJ's lunch? Like, you know, and he thought it was hilarious. I'm like, no, I'm not getting lunch. We got 15 other dudes in this office right now. But it always has stuck with me of just, hey, man, like, just do what you need to do and do it at the highest ability. And you always can continue to climb. So it's kind of like the roles on teams. Like, hey, guys may not like their roles, but you need to be the best at whatever your role is. And then we can see if we can jump from there. So no different in coaching.
Yeah. Yeah. Did your dad make good sandwiches growing up?
My dad never made sandwiches. That was the thing. I'm like, man, why are you bringing that up? But it's been since my first year when I was a grad assistant at Stevens Point. He's like, all you do is get the sandwiches. You need to sweep the floor. Like, I'm like, dude, I don't do that. Like, they have people who do that. Like,
oh my God, that's hilarious. So we do a little thing called the shot clock. It's just kind of light and airy, kind of fun. Sam usually introduces, but obviously he's not here. So I will do that. So the first question I asked you is, what does culture mean to you?
Culture to me is what your daily habits are. Culture to me is your daily habits day after day forming your standards, and then your standards form your culture. So I would say it encompasses everything you're doing every single day. And I think it gets a little cliche because it's like, yeah, we're going to have a great culture. And I would tell you right now, we don't have a culture established yet. We will have one after we establish our daily habits and our standards. But until then, we're cultureless for right now.
Is it tough to build Is it tougher to build culture now with the transfer portal and NIL so prevalent? Is it like almost near impossible, or is there still hope?
I think there's still hope. I think you're going to have retainment is obviously huge, but I think from day one, you're starting to talk about what you can do on a daily basis, and you're relentless in that. And you got to get the guys to buy into it. That's my job. I got to get them to buy into everything we're doing every single day, and being relentlessly consistent when we do that. And I think you establish your culture. And then, you know, whoever you retain for the next season, they're continuing to bring that on. And, you know, I think you go from there.
Yeah. All right. So what is the best advice Coach Medved has given you? And what's the best coaching advice or life advice Coach Otzelberger's given you?
You know, Nico really taught me how to be a servanthood leader. He taught me what it meant to give in to people and to pour in and invest in the guys. Like, I think he does a great job at that as a leader to his staff, but then also trickles it down to, you know, his players so that they know like what it means to, man, a coach does, not just a basketball thing. It's just a whole life thing and an aspect of development that is bigger than just basketball. And then TJ just taught me, like, man, it's about what you do every single day. Your daily habits matter more than anything else. And I think we proved that there because we weren't necessarily the quote unquote most talented team. But our guys just dug into, man, getting better every single day. And that's a mantra we'll have here is GBD. We'll get better daily. And we're going to do that at USD.
Nice. So if there was competitions, kind of a challenge between those two coaches we just talked about, who would win? So we're going to have 4 categories. Okay. The first category is, who do you think, and I don't know this, we're just going to assume, so there's no wrong or right answers, which there probably is. Okay. Who would assume between Coach TJ and Coach Nico, who had the higher GPA in college?
Coach Nico for sure.
Okay. Who would win in a running race right now between the two of them?
TJ.
Okay. Who's a better dancer?
I don't know. I think they're both pretty stiff. TJ's from Milwaukee, so I'll give it to him because our Milwaukee.
Oh, because Nico's from Minnesota, from Minneapolis.
Yeah.
Okay. Who would you say is a better dresser away from the basketball court?
Oh man. TJ, I guess. I don't know. They're both like pretty simple. No, they're neither one of them are getting dressed up. Like they're both kind of low key dudes. Where off the court, they're trying to eliminate the attention and just look like regular guys.
Okay. And who would you say? What was I had a good one. Who would you say if they had a wrestling match? Who would win?
Oh, TJ.
Yeah. Okay. So it looks like TJ is going to win this competition. So, give me your funniest recruiting story.
Oh wow, that's a good one. I have been on a recruiting trip. I guess it's not funny. I would say it's interesting where I had a kid and his mom, and the kid was super nervous, younger kid, and we went to a restaurant, and the kid started choking on the food, and he was so embarrassed that he wouldn't admit he was choking. His mom was kind of looking at him, and I was looking at him, and he went to the bathroom, came back, still was like, you could tell something was up, and the dude ended up throwing up at the table. Yeah.
Did you sign him?
We did not. It was, but it was like, man, you could tell something was wrong. And then at the end, I was just kind of like, ooh, I'm kind of glad that happened because it looked like it could have got a lot more serious. But yeah, that happened.
Yeah. That's not. We've heard it all. Just so you know. So that's we haven't heard that one, but we've heard it all. So, if you were a candle scent, what candle scent would you be?
Vanilla, just plain and keep it simple.
Okay. So they're making a Hollywood movie about your life. It's a 3-part question. Okay. So they're making a Hollywood movie about your life. What would the title be? Who would play you? And what would be the theme song to that movie? Or I guess your walkout song per se.
Yeah, that's a great question.
Reverse psychology.
I would go, title would just be Mr. Consistency.
Love it.
What was this? Who would play me? I'm going to go Michael B. Jordan.
Okay. Usually Denzel Washington's the number one pick.
Yeah, Denzel's getting a little up there, though.
Yeah.
That crossed my mind initially.
Wow.
And then theme song.
Like what song like exemplifies you?
Man, that is a great question.
This is all reverse psychology. This is kind of like you're going to make you think really deep and about your life.
I want to go with like old Kanye.
Ooh.
Old Kanye, like
Ooh.
Can't Tell Me Nothing.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Ooh.
So
okay.
I'm gonna go.
Wow.
That's way back.
Wow. A Wisconsin guy representing a Chicago guy. That's why he went to Loyola.
Got some Chicago roots.
Yeah, of course. I mean, you have to, but that's good. Old school Kanye was pretty. I actually saw him in concert. He gave his mom a Mercedes Benz. I think it was her birthday around that time at where was it? House of Blues in Chicago. It was pretty cool.
Wow. Yeah, that's cool.
That was before. That's when he was Kanye West, not
right. Yeah.
Kind of like Prince when he went to the Symbol or whatever.
Exactly.
So, how excited? Okay, so if you're talking to the San Diego faithful, the alumni, the boosters, the fans, how excited should they be for year one?
Very excited. I think we're going to put a product on the floor that's looked a lot different from a playing aspect of how hard, how much effort we'll get on an every night basis. And then you should just flying around. I think we'll, win or loss, like we will play hard. We're going to try to dictate and disrupt on the defensive end and play with pace and space on the offensive end. And I think it's going to be aesthetically pleasing. Like you're gonna see guys that care about winning and care about development and care about getting better. And, I think all great coaches, it starts, kind of in a trajectory that's always going up. And I think that by the end of the year, you're going to be like, all right, these guys are ready to go and ready to compete and win.
Yeah, I found a perfect non-conference matchup when you said that. You got to play Sundance Wicks at Wyoming.
He's got great energy. Great
energy. He brings the juice. That would be like the Full Court Network Classic. That would be fun.
He's got great energy.
Great energy. Yeah. He's nuts. But Coach, really appreciate you're going to stick on for one more second as we upload. Check out San Diego, man. It's exciting. You got me on football. Though I was a basketball guy, you got me on football. But I'm really excited. I said congratulations again, even from a UIC grad to a Loyola grad. We're all in this together. But check out San Diego. Check out Coach Blount in year one of his era. And don't forget to subscribe, rate, and review. We'll be back next week on the Full Court Press, College Basketball Coaches Show.